We've got bike issues, Darren.
What?
Big bike issues.
You mean neighbors have bike issues?
There are some very upset neighbors in
Wait.
lovely Santa Barbara, California.
Wait a minute. You have a lovely neighborhood like Santa Barbara. You have a bike. Why do you care about your neighbor? You're on your bike. You're out in the world. Why does the Right Next Door podcast have to deal with bikes at all?
Well, when there's bikes, Darren, there are red hot bike issues.
Dirty deeds, triggered tirades, busybodies, and missing cats. They say tall fences make good neighbors, but bad neighbors make the Right Next Door podcast.
I ride a bike. Do you ride a bike?
Not often.
Okay. Well, as you know, I do not ride a bike that I'm dressed in the spandex with the fake sponsors and the helmet and the special shoes with the little cleats. And,
no. You're not
I just, I wear, board shorts, a t-shirt and flip-flops, and I get on my beach cruiser. That's my bike riding experience. So I don't really use hand signals because I try to avoid being on the road, period, because I don't want to be, run over by a giant Escalade or something.
Yeah.
So I try to stay on the bike trails, but people in Santa Barbara are upset because the bikers are not using hand signals.
See, if there's something to be upset about, you've got to find something to be upset about when you live basically in paradise, and that's what they're upset about.
They're upset. The oranges are not quite as juicy. The lettuce is somewhat wilty, all because of these bikers not using hand signals.
Well, yeah, that's crazy because so you're talking about hand signals. There's just like a couple of hand signals or just
Well, that's the rub. Like I thought. So we all know, like, as little kids when we were on our bikes, right? You do the, the upright, like right turn is, the hand up, and then left turn is, karate chop straight out.
Yeah.
To left. Oh, there's way more than that. So I think, just being, people seem to be very, I don't know, fastidious in California about, their rules. I did a little research and let's play a fun little quiz because I only know those two signals, as probably do you, right? Do you know more than those two?
There are hand signals we all know about. Yes, like you said, there's the angle arm and then there's the arm right outside. But you're on a bike. How many more signals can there possibly be on the back of a bike?
Well, like everything these days, things are complicated, D. So I don't know when these signals were invented, but let's play a fun game of tell me what the signal is.
Okay, go for it.
All right. So if you were to make a signal that you were about to slow down on your bike, you're the biker, you're going super fast down a Santa Barbara hill.
Yeah.
You're slowing down. What's your hand signal?
You're on the bike and I think your left arm is at an angle downward from your body.
That's not a bad guess. It's the right arm angled down with an up and down motion. So it's like you're like pat, like, hey, we're
like I'm patting a dog running alongside.
Exactly, patting the head of a dog on your right side.
Okay.
So that's slowing down.
Because in America we drive on the right side of the road, so I got to keep that in mind. So that's why it's that right hand. Okay.
I'm going to give you a hint. Most of these are on the right side.
Okay.
So
that's a big hint.
It's a big hint. All right,
now be able to get this though. All right.
You're stopping. You're coming to an abrupt stop.
I'm thinking like a palm forward, like stop in the name of love kind of gesture.
Well, the photo I'm looking at, and I wish I could share this with you. It's literally Nazi salute. It's fingers closed, arms straight up in the air. I'm like, we probably should have gone with a different sign, but that's really, what it looks like.
Yeah, that is not that's not a healthy sign for a democracy right about now.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And
I found that one a little odd.
And in Santa Barbara, more of a left, more of a progressive kind of enclave. And if they see a neighbor who's cruising slowing down at a stoplight and making the Nazi signal, I'm not sure that's going to go over well. But fortunately, they're in a progressive enclave. They're not going to shoot him. They're not going to shoot him.
You better. Just word of warning to you bikers: before you use the "I'm stopping" signal, you might want to, take caution with your surroundings and just stop with no signal would be my recommendation.
So you've already laid out some signals. Okay, how many more of these darn signals? And so the Santa Barbara people are up in arms because people are not using, what, 5 signals, 12 signals, 30 signals?
Well, there's a couple more I think you'll find useful in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
What if there's a pothole and you want to signal to your other bikers pothole? What's
I'm going to say I'm going to gesture like I'm emptying some dried beans out of my right hand. Look, there's a pothole.
That's pretty close. It's you point with a circular motion. So you're pointing and circling.
I'm like I'm stirring a big tub of water
with your index finger.
Well, this is
now. I found these all I didn't know any of these. How about a hazard? You want to point out a hazard?
Both hands off the handlebars, straight overhead, like touchdown. How about
touchdown? That is a very good guess. Actually, that probably was my first guess. No, you make like a handgun signal with your hand, like a handgun.
Yeah,
and then you put it behind your back, as if you're a cowboy shooting somebody on the right side. That is the hazard. Yeah, I mean, I don't know who came up
how
with
are
that.
you supposed to know all these signals and then keep them in mind? So you're on the back of your bike. You've got a sheaf of papers in your left hand. You're holding the handlebars with your right hand because you're going through the signals. You're like paging through the signals. Otherwise, your neighbors are going to get upset with you for not using all 1735 signals as you're riding your bike.
I mean, I can see why people are upset. I'd want to see these. If I'm driving behind you, I need to know if there's a pothole. I don't want to break my tie rod.
Wait a minute. Someone's driving behind you, seeing these signals. They've got to pull out their sheaf of papers and go through. Okay, what he did a thing where he put his handgun in the back of his waistband. So maybe you're driving with your wife or your partner, and you say, "Hey, could you look that up? What signal is that? Is there?" And then you hit the pothole. Bango. So
I got to say, like the handgun, like the hazard one. I mean, honestly, if you saw that, wouldn't you be like, "Oh my God, does somebody over there have a gun? Like, what is he? What's the gun gesture? What's going on my starboard side over here? What But all right, so one last one for our rural friends.
Craziness, yeah.
Let's say you're biking across country, and you're about ready to cross a cattle grid. There's even a sign for that.
A cattle grid. What is a cattle grid, Jeff? You're in a more rural area than where I am.
Cattle grid. I think. I don't know for sure, but I'm envisioning that there's some sort of, I don't know what, like sewer type grid thing over the roadway or something that drains cattle waste.
What the heck? A cattle grid. We need, if there are listeners that hear this and know what a cattle grid is, please let us know and send us pictures. Or maybe, do you have a picture of a cattle grid in front of you?
I have they're all in yellow. They're very official. All I can tell you is that if you're approaching one of these cattle grids
because
on
you don't
a bicycle,
know, but if I'm approaching it, I don't know what it is. I'm freaking out a little bit.
I would just when in doubt, use this signal.
Okay.
Left arm. So this one's a lefty. Okay. Left arm, index finger pointed down.
Yeah.
Moving back and forth. Like left or right, left or right.
No.
Like a no, but.
If that finger was up, it'd be like, no. But if the finger's down, that's like cattle grid. Like, hey, keep an eye out for the cattle. Well, there's an intuitive nature to these things. Like you can see that there are bike people that kind of came up with these signals through riding their bike and kind of experiencing the bike life. And then they got back to their homes and they got off their bike and they wrote these things down to share with and annoy the world. So those are the bike people we're dealing with.
Here's what I'm guessing, because the guys that dress and gals that dress in the spandex and the helmet. Yeah. I mean that's a club all unto themselves, right? So I think this is their own secret language. I don't even think this language is supposed to translate to automobile drivers. This is just for
people like you and I. We're not wearing spandex because wind resistance is not an issue with us. As we're moving through the world, Jeff, you and I. We're not going to increase our efficiency or speed by wearing spandex.
Well, let's just put it this way. In my current state, if I were to wear spandex and ride a bike in public, small children would faint and people would phone the police.
Well, hopefully our voices are occasionally amusing, but if our podcast gets to a place where we need to wear spandex to amuse our audience, then that's a whole different.
Yeah, that's a different. Wow. I'm going to aspire to getting my weight in shape to be able to wear spandex. Not that I ever would, but let's just say one day I wake up and I'm like, wow, I think today's the day I'm checking out spandex. But you'd look ridiculous in spandex on a beach cruiser anyway. People would be like, what's up with this guy?
Why is that guy? Yeah, he's on an Olympic trial on the beach here on his cruiser, and he's not really gonna make it. He's not gonna.
Yeah, no, it's just not a look becoming on any level, in shape or not shape for me anyway. But I think it's like the CB code. You remember the CBs from the 70s?
Oh yeah,
like 10-4. Okay,
we're old enough to remember the CB radio, ladies and gentlemen. And there was a whole elaborate language of the CB radio. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you have one? I was totally into that as a kid.
Really?
Oh my God. We had CB clubs. I actually had what they called a bass microphone. So I had a whole little station set up in my bedroom. And as a little kid, even getting like the 9-volt battery walkie-talkies.
Oh man.
I think I was just intrigued that I could like push a button, my voice would go from one walkie-talkie to the other. And it just
kind of affected your career. You know, you went into media, you went into broadcasting voices, your own and others around the world, and so that's those early days, those young Jeff talking into some kind of microphone, some kind of audio device. That was the beginnings of Jeff's media frenzy.
It was the old Breaker 19, Breaker 19.
Breaker 19, we got us a convoy here. We're gonna go. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't remember a lot of the 10 code, but I do remember like 1036 was what time is it? 10-9, repeat yourself. 10-10, I'm standing by.
Well, so you were much more into this than I was, or perhaps most Americans. And there's a lot of these codes that are police codes also, because they have is 10-4 is a police code.
I think 10-4 is just the universal. I think it's just been, if it wasn't, it probably is now, but
well, we want it to be. So if it's not, if you're a younger listener, first of all, thank you. Second of all, 10-4 means thanks, good buddy, or
thanks,
gotcha,
good buddy. Yep. And that was the only bike signal. I forgot to say that one. The one for thanks and the bike signal is thumbs up, which is also the only other one I knew other than right and left. I don't wear a helmet. Do you wear a helmet?
Of course. Everywhere. I'm wearing a helmet now. I think this.
I thought that was some sort of one of those UV things you did to grow extra hair.
I think it's very important to be safe at any juncture, at any place in life. Okay, I'm wearing headphones, which is the podcaster's helmet. But no, helmets are very important. There are a lot of essential parts of my body that dwell between my ears, and I want to protect them if that's at all possible.
If you'll indulge me with a perspective.
Sure. Point, counterpoint. Helmets. They're right next to a podcast.
So I'll start out with last summer I'm riding my bike along the beach.
Yeah.
And like this crotchety old lady.
Okay.
Literally, who I don't know, I'm just minding my own business, yells at me, "Hey, where's your helmet?"
On the beach. You're on the beach.
Well, I was on the road. You know, there's like a little bike path along where people walk their dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
So couldn't remember if she had a dog or not, but she literally yelled at me, "Hey, where's your helmet?" And to which I responded, "Right up your sphincter. Give it back to me after you clean it." Like, what do you mean? Where's my helmet? Mind your own, Grandma.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? I'm going like 3 miles an hour. Like, if I have to wear a helmet on a beach cruiser going 3 miles an hour, I may as well wear a protective cup like I'm playing baseball. I should dress in full hockey garb where I've got
grandma
shoulder
helmet
pads.
Police have gotten way out of hand. What's next? They're going to comment on your clothing on your way to the beach. Your shorts are too short. Your colors are too bright. You're not wearing a helmet, because if you are injured on a beach near her, her insurance rates are going to go up? What the hell?
It's just one of those things where like she thought I should be wearing a helmet, so she felt that she needed to project her helmet wearing issues on me. And
but Jeff,
I don't even know if she rode a bike.
She might have had an issue that happened one time. There was someone riding probably right near where you were, and they weren't wearing a helmet, and they careened into a pole or a stanchion or a parking meter, and their heads split open and their brains splattered everywhere, and she was so traumatized by that, and that happened like 20 or 30 years earlier. And so to this day, she's making sure she's out there. She actually has no other life. She stands where you saw her, yelling at people about their helmets because she wants to avoid the trauma of another deadly, non-helmet, brain-spattering injury.
Well, that's an intriguing analogy, D. But if I am so unlucky to come across that fate at the beach going 2 to 3 miles an hour, it's just my time.
It's your time.
It's just
your time.
It's just my time.
It's
I mean, if it wasn't for that, I'd be like run over by, a dune buggy or something. I mean, it's just.
It's your karmic. It's your karmic punishment. That's right. It's like, it's absolutely your time. Because what would happen? What if you went, not 3 miles? What if you went 5 miles an hour? How much worse could it be? What kind of helmet police would you run into if you're? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. So for me to get down to the beach, there's a pretty semi-busy street, right? And it's got a bike lane in it.
Uh-huh.
And on the weekends, all the Spandex guys are riding en masse in their little like giant it's like a cloud of bees moving across.
Well, there's a pod. There's a peloton. That they call that pod of bikes. I believe it's a peloton.
Well, so here's what I like to do. I like to get into that bike lane because I'm on a bike and I'm on a busy street. Yeah. On my little beach cruiser.
And you like to screw with them.
That's got to annoy the living crap out of these guys that are like, oh my God.
Jeffrey's war against Spandex. All right, Spandex boys. Here's your comeuppance.
Yeah. Here you go, Spandex boy. Fatso on a beach cruiser.
Get used to it.
Let me give you the passing signal, which is, the.
Let me give you the Spandex sucks signal. Let me give you the wear regular clothes like a human being signal.
It's I don't understand why they got to wear. I mean, I just find it ridiculous. But I mean, when you think back, did you ride a bike as a kid? Were you?
Yeah. I do ride a bike sometimes, just not often.
Because we did, the stuff we did as kids. Yeah. Like, we used to go up and down the alleys and junk, find junk bike parts and make bikes, and then but we had to do that. Yeah. Well, we did ramps and stuff because it was like the Evel Knievel era, right? Yeah, so every kid. And so we would, take cinder blocks and then figure out how many cinder blocks you could, stack that thing up before the board would snap in two. Yeah. I mean, I literally remember flying through the air on one jump with, the handlebars, they came up.
Oh, yeah. We had a banana seat bike. Yeah, the sissy bars and the banana seat bike. Yeah.
So I hit it with such velocity that the bars snapped in two while I was in midair, and I somersaulted, landed on my face, and I know I messed up a shirt that my mom wasn't real happy about. But you know what? No helmet. As far as I can tell, I'm fairly normal.
Well, Jeff, people have that kind of thing. People, our generation and older, say, well, you know what? We didn't have helmets or seat belts. We carried sidearms, and nothing bad happened to us. So, well, the ones who are living to tell about it, there are other people that hit that ramp and flew up into the air and landed on their spine. And there are other people there are people that were slain, that were killed, So nothing happened to us because we're still alive, but the people that are no longer with us.
Yeah. Well, look, none of my friends died doing it, but I will say, if you are one of these like Spandex guys, I mean, you're moving pretty fast. I mean, it would be kind of like, I don't know, what are you doing? 30 miles an hour, 25 miles. I mean, it's got to be at a speed where if you did hit something, it wouldn't end well.
But Jeff, the great thing about Spandex is if you have Spandex around your upper body or your lower body and you run into an obstacle, and typically, like if it were you or me, there'd be a splat and a split, and there'd be this horrible wound. But if you're wearing Spandex, you're still wounded, but the Spandex holds the wound in place.
So you've got your tourniquet already applied to your body.
It's already on it. It's very, very tight, and so you might be horribly injured. You might see a little bit of blood seepage through the brightly colored material, but the material is so brightly colored and strange anyway, you can barely see. And the person's writhing on the ground; they're horribly injured. But that lady, that crazy helmet nut lady, wouldn't even notice that they were dead or dying because the spandex would hold their wound in place.
I never thought about that. It's
another reason why
two-prong uniform almost.
Why you should consider spandex and perhaps have spandex around your head. So that if you crack your head open, the spandex keeps your brains in place.
Well, I mean, but getting back to the Santa Barbara people that are upset, how many people driving, I'm assuming it's the people that are driving the cars that are upset with the bikers for not signaling. How many of those people know what the cattle grate signal is?
They don't.
Or I'm going to stop. I mean, other than right and left, I don't know what other.
Well, Jeff, if you're like me, you own a $7 million house on the beach in Santa Barbara, and you're pretty upset about the fact that cattle are moving through your neighborhood. I think that alone, you're going to gesture to that cattle grid. You're going to be pretty ticked off about that. Hey, I paid $7 million for my beachfront property. Why are they moving cattle through here? I thought, aren't they in Texas or something? And what the hell?
You have a neighbor who's driving you crazy. Tell us about it. Right Next Door Podcast at gmail.com. The Right Next Door Podcast is an unscripted production of Eversharp Media, which takes a satirical look at local news coverage and social media. The material, views, and opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the talent, guests, or the production company. Celebrity voices impersonated, including this one.